I went to a treatment center years ago, and they used to always talk about feelings. How are you feeling today? Early recovery. About 2 months out of recovery, I'm in a treatment center, locked up like a caged animal, feeling irritable and discontent, hyper, anxious, depressed, all these negative sort of feelings going on. And they're walking up to me and asking me, so Terry G, how are you feeling today? And I'd be like, I don't know how I'm feeling. I don't know anything about feelings. I remember going to a class and they had those emoji charts. You know those charts? This is what you look like when you're frustrated. This is what a face looks like when you're anxious. This is what an angry face looks like. This is what a jealous face looks like. Have you ever seen that? And then at the end of the class, they gave me a handout. And I secretly took that handout, went back to my room and studied it, believe it or not, because I didn't have a clue to put words to my emotions, how I felt. All I knew is that I was super mad, I was super hurt, and I was depressed as hell in early recovery. But also, my emotions controlled me. It was crazy. If something happened in the outside world, I would react to it emotionally. I would react. And most of those emotions were overreaction. It was crazy. I thought I was insane. My sponsor used to walk up to me and say, Terry, maybe you should go on medication. Believe it or not, because I was up and down like a yo-yo. If you're like this, if you're experiencing really strong emotion in early recovery, believe me, you're not alone. You're not alone. A lot of people do. And a lot of people in recovery from alcoholism don't understand their feelings. They don't understand them. They can't put words to how they feel. And I'll tell you, it takes practice. It really does. Go on the internet and get one of those emoji charts. There's all kinds of them. This is how you feel. You know, those charts, you can identify it. I know it sounds ridiculous or something in recovery, but it actually works. It actually works. Worst thing about learning these feelings is the roller coaster, up and down like that. My life was never like that. It was never calm. It was always emotional. So I had to learn how to deal with my feelings and emotions. First of all, what I needed to do is understand, why am I feeling such an impact when it comes to my emotions? And one of the biggest ones is that when I was an alcoholic, an active alcoholic, I numbed everything. If I was angry, I controlled anger with a drink. If I was nervous or anxious, I would control it with a drink. If I was fearful, I would control it with a drink. Everything I felt was always numbed or muted by the alcohol or drugs. There's a little bit of drugs in my talk, right? So I was using the alcohol unknowingly to numb my feelings. And also I used the alcohol, and I want you to listen to this one. I also used the alcohol to numb my experiences. If I got rejected, if somebody died, or something I did I felt very guilty of, or something happened to me that was traumatic, either I did or somebody else did to me, I used the alcohol to numb that too. So I never grieved anything, and I never dealt with anything when it came to my addiction life. I never did. Everything was on autopilot, and the fuel of the autopilot was alcohol and drugs. And that's the facts. That's the facts of the matter. So all those childhood issues, all those teenage issues, all those, relationship issues, family issues, you name it, issues on issues, was never dealt with. So what happens when you don't deal with anything? What happens when you use an alcohol as that dam to hold everything back? What happens? Well, I'll tell you what happens. I'm going to tell you. Shit gets real. It really does. When the wall of alcoholism addiction and drug addiction fell aside, I was raw. And the one thing about your emotions, one thing about your mental subconscious or your brain, they don't forget. They don't forget. So all that stuff that was built up over the years, that caused trauma to me, that things I did to other people that I felt guilty about, the anger, the hurt, the pain came back to me like a big wave, whoosh, right over me. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. And the only thing you can do, as far as I'm concerned, is you have to deal with it. You have to deal with the past. And a lot of stuff that is related to early recovery, most of it, in my opinion, is wreckage from the past. And that wreckage from the past has to be dealt with. At least the stuff that's haunting you or me or whatever it was need to be dealt with. So I went to counseling. Yeah, I know I talk about counseling all the time, but I love counseling. I think everybody in a 12-step program needs a great sponsor and a great therapist, because Alcoholics Anonymous or AA or 12-step program wasn't enough for me. I had to go outside and get some outside help. And I slowly dealt with things. I slowly dealt with it. My emotional regulation got better. I still have a problem with emotional regulation, but I'm not as crazy as I used to be. I'm not as scary as I used to be to people. Yeah, I get a little loud sometimes. I feel a little anxious, but it's a hell of a lot better. It's a lot better. In 12-step programs, they have the 4th and 5th step, the 8 and 9 that helps you with that. And just living one day at a time helps you with your emotions. And one of the biggest things that helped me with my emotions, besides therapy and staying sober, is putting language to the way I felt, writing out the feeling, understanding it's not going to kill you. It's not. It's uncomfortable. It's hard. But as you move forward and you sit with it, it gets better. But you need to reach in deep and take a look at some of that stuff that's bothering you, that's making you trigger, making you fire up. Because sometimes the 12-step programs won't do it and a sponsor's not good enough. We have to go back with a trained counselor, a trained therapist, or a trained dictionary counselor and talk about it and understand it and grieve it away and let it go. Bill W. said it, our alcoholism is mainly between our ears, in our brain. So we have to move forward, work a program, get help, work on our emotions one day at a time. And you'll see, you will not react. You will not feel like reacting to people, places, and things that you once did. You won't feel as depressed. You won't feel as anxious. You'll feel good in your own skin. You'll feel comfortable. But it takes time. And early sobriety is very, very difficult. Not just for a couple people, for a lot of us. It really is. But it gets better one day at a time. Long as we don't drink, long as we don't pick up alcohol or a drug to soothe us, there is always hope. Once we pick up again, once we get the booze, pick it up and drink it, there's no hope for us. We become hopeless. We really do. Even the miserable days, I learned something. And I learned something from the good days. And what I learned is that, yeah, I'm an alcoholic, but I'm also a human being. And I'm walking through life like that. Okay? If that makes any sense. Okay. Well, whatever. Anyways, I've come to my conclusion of my talk. Okay? I want to thank you very much for passing by. If you can take a second, can you please subscribe? Take another second and hit that like button. My name is Terry G, and this is an alcohol-free life channel where we're going to live sober one day at a time. Okay? So, ciao for now, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.